When it comes to relationships, you can't build it upon half-truths and lies. It just doesn't work. On today's case, Mr. Danko says his girlfriend, Miss Lewallen's flirty and sneaky behavior has convinced him that she is a cheater. He says that if that wasn't enough, the scandalous secret that was revealed to him after the passing of a loved one has him questioning his future, their family, and the state of their relationship. I'm really curious about this secret. Let's hear their case.
Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Starr presiding. Your Honor, this is the case of Danko versus Lewallen.
Mr. Danko, Miss Lewallen. Mr. Danko, you are here today because you say your fiance's demeanor has changed and you feel she's keeping something from you. You believe she cheated, but she has not come clean. And unless you get the truth, you plan to end the relationship today.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Lewallen, you are appearing in court, you say, to save your relationship. You say you don't want to lose your fiancé, and you do plan to be honest so you can move forward with the planned wedding.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so let's see what this is about. You all have been together for some time. There are a lot of stakes here. Dating for 6.5 years. You have 2 children together, a 5-year-old and a 1.5-year-old. And actually, Ms. Lewallen, you have 2 additional children. All of them live together.
Yes, yes.
So this is a family that we're talking about, Mr. Danko. Am I correct?
Correct.
So there is a lot at stake here. As I said, Mr. Danko, why are we in court today?
I'm here today to end my relationship with Elizabeth. I'm tired of the sneakiness, the lies, and I'm fed up.
Sounds like you don't trust her at all.
I tried.
So I'm curious because we established that there's a family here. So for this man to be ready to walk away from the family that he has built, something serious must be happening. What's going on, Ms. Lewallen? Why does Mr. Danko feel this way?
I honestly couldn't even say why. I feel like he's just always constantly accusing me. Like, I could be walking down the street, taking the kids to the park, and he would think that I'm up to something. I'm honestly not being sneaky. I'm not doing nothing wrong, and I want to prove that to him.
I think that the reason that you're feeling like he doesn't trust you is probably because he doesn't trust you. And so that is what I need to explore a little bit on why he doesn't trust you. Mr. Danko, why don't you take me back? Because I like to look at where you started to get you where we got to here.
How I met her when I was younger, probably about 14 or 15, I knew her through mutual friends, but we never really hung out because we were both popular, we were both like alphas, and we always bumped heads with each other. We didn't like each other when we were younger, so she went her way, I went my way.
You had your own crowd, she had her own crowd.
Correct.
And you were the leader of your crowd, she was the leader of her crowd.
Correct.
Got it.
And she ended up getting with another guy, I got with another girl. Well, I was with my girl for about 9 years, and she had passed away for just some medical stuff. And Elizabeth ended up comforting me. You know, like
she was there for you.
She was there for me, and when I needed it the most, you know, like so we ended up getting into a relationship and having the kids, and
6.5 years later, you're here.
Yes.
Mr. Danko, help me to understand why you feel like you're being pressured to propose.
Well, we agreed that when our first child was 1, that she would get a job. She still hasn't got a job. Every time I ask her to get a job, she says that she's looking. So I feel like I shouldn't have to get down on one knee to make her happy when I'm not really that happy.
Ms. Lewallen, that's a very honest thing to hear from your longtime mate. He's been with you, like you say, almost 7 years, and he says he's not happy in his relationship.
Well, he doesn't always tell the full story, too. You know, as the job situation, I've had multiple jobs. Like, right before I had my youngest daughter, I was at a job, and he made me quit. He made me quit 3 jobs because of his own insecurities.
So help me to understand that, Mr. Danko.
She's sneaky. I had a friend that she didn't know was my friend that worked with her at the job she's talking about. I made her quit is because she was hanging with the supervisor. He was buying her snacks. She was hugging on him. Why do you hug on your supervisor? I don't hug on no girls at my work. There's no girls touching me at my work.
Talk to me, Miss Lewallen. What's that about?
Well, if he would have asked me about that instead of just jumping to conclusions like he always does, I would have explained to him that that was my friend from, like, elementary school, and he's married to a man now, so there couldn't...
So you are not on his menu?
Right.
Mr. Danko, clearly you have lost the trust
She's too flirty. She's flirty. But that's what I liked about her when I got with her. She was flirty. You know, that's just something that I fell in love with, and we got together because she was flirty. But
Explain to me when you say she's too flirty.
she's too flirty. A situation. When we moved in my new house that we just got, you know, a couple years ago, there was a neighbor guy, and she was always talking to this guy. I was going to work. I'd see him like hanging over the fence, talking to each other. I come walking in the backyard one day. She had booty shorts on. She was doing yard work. And I walked up to her, and I was like trying to call her name or saying something to her, and she like was like waving me off. So I walked up to her, all the way up to her, and him, and he was like looking at me, you know. And she was like, "Hold on," and I'm like, I ended up getting into an argument with her, said a couple things, and walked away. That's something that made me, you know, feel.
It sounds a little like you're feeling insecure with her having any contact with men that you don't have a relationship with. Help me to understand why. Now, mind you, that's no judgment, because usually I have found when one of my litigants is insecure about something, something has happened in the relationship to make them feel insecure.
Yeah, she's too flirty. When I was younger, the flirty was cute, but as I got older and I realized like what all men want and what they're looking for, the flirty kind of went out the window.
So in other words, it's gotten on your nerves now.
Yeah.
What do you say to that,
As
Ms.
for
Lewallen?
that, you know, like I said, he just don't even give me a chance to explain. Yes, I was at home. I was in the yard with the kids, doing yard work, cleaning up the yard. The neighbor's dog got out. That was the only reason I was talking to the neighbor, is because his dog was running loose, and I didn't think he even noticed it. And he just always assumes that I'm like trying to be with someone or trying to talk to this person or trying to go do something, and it's not the case.
Has this been over the course of your relationship, or is this recent?
This just started probably right before our son was born.
So in the last couple of years?
Yeah, yeah.
When I first got with Elizabeth, my dad told me not to trust her.
He didn't really know me as a mother and as a wife, you know? He just knew me as like a party girl and everything with that. And I did not have sex with his father.
Well, right before my dad died, he had told me that he had sex with Elizabeth.
What are you talking about? I'm sitting here trying not to vomit in my own mouth.
Yeah.
There's something that's going on with the two of you that is not being said. Do you think that she is cheating or has cheated? Because I can see it on your face.
Another thing
Yes.
is, my father had passed away 2 years ago. When I first got with Elizabeth, my dad told me not to trust her.
Why?
Probably because he's seen that she was flirty with other guys, or who knows, maybe she tried to do something with him, who knows. So I talked to my dad. He said, you know, she's just too flirty, she's this, that, and the other. Well, right before my dad died, he had told me that he had sex with Elizabeth.
Your father
Yes,
told you
yes,
that he had sex
yes,
with the mother of your children?
yes,
No way.
yes.
Under what circumstances did your dad die?
He had a blood clot in his ear, and when I went in to talk to the doctor, he said, you know, he's had the blood clot for like 15 years, this, that, and the other. So I thought about it, you know, they said it was a minor surgery. He wasn't supposed to, nothing was supposed to happen, this, that, and the other. It was to prevent strokes.
Absolutely, because the blood clot can move,
Well-
and it can move to the brain.
He went through the surgery, but it had put him in like a coma. He had major stroke, and then when he came out of it, he was, you know, messed up completely. And
Yeah.
like I was taking care of him for 7 months.
Did he know that he had limited amount of time to live?
Yes, that is when he told me he had sex with Elizabeth.
So he told you almost like a dying declaration.
Yeah.
So, Ms. Lewallen, I turn to you. Why didn't Mr. Danko's father like you?
When we were younger, his dad's house was kind of like the hangout for everyone, and maybe he didn't like me just because of my younger self, you know, but he didn't really know me as a mother and as a wife, you know. He just knew me as like a party girl and everything with that. And I did not have sex with his father.
Okay, and he had an opportunity to observe you, and you admit that you were a party girl.
Yeah, I was before my children, yeah.
Okay, but in the interim, when Mr. Danko and you got together, I assume his father had an opportunity to be around you. Am I right, Mr. Danko?
Yeah, my dad wouldn't lie about something like that.
So you were now, quote, the mother of his grandchildren. And yet he still made a claim that
That
is
makes
so
me question
tremendously
if my kid-
ugly.
That makes me question if the kids are mine. That's what I wanted to get the DNA test for. And she wouldn't do it.
Wait,
We don't need a DNA test. I feel like if we need a DNA test, why is he even with me? Why is he here right now?
Actually, I think that's the question that he has posed. Because, Ms. Lewallen, there's one thing that I have learned. A woman knows if the possibility exists if the child is not the person she has said it is. The only way it could possibly not be his child is if you slept with somebody else. There's no other way.
No, and that's what I'm saying. It's his child. My younger two children are his children. There's no other way that it could not be.
So, Ms. Lewallen, why would you not consent to a DNA test and put this all to rest so that your family can move on?
My son don't even have my last name.
I beg your pardon?
My son don't even have my last name.
Why?
That's because he wasn't there. He wasn't in the hospital. He was denying that it was even his.
Why wouldn't you agree to a DNA test so that you could put that all to rest?
Because I know that my children are his. I did not have intercourse with his dad. I did not.
You chose that word, sexual intercourse.
Yes.
I'm gonna ask you some tough questions.
I want to make a confession while we're here.
If you'd like your case to be heard on divorce court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at divorcecourt.com. Missed a show? Watch full episodes on our streaming platforms and follow us on social media for exclusive content. Ms. Lewallen, it sounds like there have been questions about the paternity from the beginning. Taking me back, what kinds of issues were going on in your relationship, Mr. Danko?
Same issues as now.
That you were concerned about her flirty behavior?
Most definitely. But I didn't think, I mean, she was with this other dude on and off, but I didn't think that I thought was mine for sure, and now I question it because of just, why won't she take the DNA test?
Ms. Lewallen, I have to come to you on that.
I just feel like I shouldn't have to prove that to him. They look just like him. I mean, looks just like him. He's spinning.
But it's his father, so the argument is that the father made a claim. Why wouldn't you agree to a DNA test so that you could put that all to rest?
Because I know for a fact that my children are his. I did not have intercourse with his dad. I did not. No sexual intercourse happened with his father.
Ms. Lewallen, you chose that word. You changed it. Initially, you said you didn't have sex
Yeah.
with his father.
Yes.
And then you just changed it to sexual intercourse.
Yes.
I'm gonna ask you some tough questions.
Okay.
There's lots of ways to have sex. And one of those ways is sexual intercourse.
I want to make a confession while we're here. I did not have sex with your dad, but there was oral. So I know for a fact that Abel is yours.
Wow.
But I didn't want to tell you
I want
because
both kids tested, actually.
Did you just say you didn't have sexual intercourse,
Yes.
but you performed oral sex?
Yes, well, I mean, that wasn't all my fault, though. I was there helping his dad, and, you know, we
And his penis happened to go in your mouth?
We started drinking, one thing
Slipped
led to
and fell out of
another, and I feel like his dad took advantage of me. But I didn't want to tell him that because, you know, with his dad passing and all that, and I didn't want to tell him because I didn't want to hurt him, and I honestly don't know how one thing led to another. I was there helping him. He started pouring me drinks, and I just didn't want to tell you. I didn't want to hurt you. But the baby is yours for sure.
Wow. I don't even know what to say right now.
Miss Lewallen, you got so drunk that you performed oral sex on
And lied to me this
the
whole time.
grandfather
instead
of
just
your
telling
children?
Me.
What was going on in your life that you needed to do something so foul?
I mean, I was going through a lot with my ex, and me and him had just got together, you know.
How couldn't you just tell me, though? Why couldn't you just say it? I asked
That's
you.
not something that she could ever say to you, Mr. Danko. I'm sitting here trying not to vomit in my own mouth. What are you talking about? How could she just say it? That is just foul. Come on, Miss Lewallen.
I mean, I understand that, but it wasn't all my fault either. You know, his dad was there, part of it. His dad was pouring the drinks, you know, like, and I didn't want to hurt him. I didn't want him to be mad at both of us.
It's not just mad and hurt.
I've asked her 100 times to take the test.
I'm sorry. I mean, I feel bad. I feel horrible about it. But I want him to know the truth now that our son is his, our daughter is his, and this is what happened, and I'm sorry for it.
You've now told the truth.
Yes.
So now we can get the test?
So now you should be able to do the test.
Yeah, I mean, if he wants to, yeah, but there's no possibility that our kids could not be his, because that is the only thing that happened.
Mr. Danko, if she will agree, I will authorize a test so that you can assuage your
100%.
concern.
100%.
Ms. Lewallen, you will agree to a DNA test?
Yes.
How am I supposed to move on? And how many other men?
There was no other man.
It's time to come completely clean, young lady. Is there anything else you want to confess? Is there a possibility that this baby is not Mr. Danko's father's, but somebody else?
Yeah, I'm sorry, but could be too.
Wow. See, I knew it. That's why I questioned them both. I knew it. The whole time I knew it.
So, Ms. Lewallen, see, the problem is exactly what I said to you in the beginning. A woman knows.
I know, but I mean, I know our baby is his, and you know, he was doing what he was doing at the time, and we got over it and moved past it. And by the time we moved past it, I just didn't want to lose him. I didn't want to tell him.
So now, in full transparency, now you have to determine whether or not you can go forward, because he didn't have all the information, and you know all of the problems that you've been having?
I'm sick to my stomach.
Mr. Danko, I don't even know how you're feeling, and however you're feeling is valid.
Right.
That's what I need you to know.
Cat.
So, whatever it is that you're feeling right now is valid, and you can feel any way you want. But, Mr. Danko, here's the thing. Do you think you can come through this?
I don't know.
Because, I mean, honestly,
I want the test. I want the test.
I tell you what, the court is going to order the test, and I'm going to invite you to come back, because
Okay.
I feel very strongly that once we get this test out of the way, that's when we discuss, is there any path forward? Because right now, neither one of you can talk about a path forward, because Mr. Danko does not trust you. And you will have to reestablish trust.
What do I tell the kids? Nothing?
That you love them. Because, Mr. Danko, what I'm not going to let you do is take it out on those children. You've built a family.
I wouldn't do that.
You've built a family. And this is why I am not asking you for a response right now, because right now you are raw.
Right.
We have just pulled a complete scab off your body, and you are standing here raw. And you have every right to feel the way you do. So allow yourself to feel that. I do not suggest that you all make any decisions right now, because children are involved in this. But, Ms. Lewallen, I will order that test for you, because that's going to be your first step for rebuilding trust. Because Mr. Danko, at some point, has to look you in the face and trust that what you're saying to him is true. I think, Ms. Lewallen, Mr. Danko deserves to have a DNA test, and I will provide you with marriage counseling if you want that. I don't know if Mr. Danko's even ready to start to think about it. But there needs to be family counseling no matter what, because this family is going to need to be put back together, because there are children involved.
Correct.
And if we believe what Ms. Lewallen is saying right now, at a very minimum, you have a 1.5-year-old
Right.
that you all are going to have to co-parent for the rest of her life. So no matter what, we've got to put this family back together. I'm willing to do the work with you. Are you willing to do the work with me?
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Danko?
Yes.
We will order the DNA test,
I'll take it. I'll let him do it.
and then we'll revisit this.
Okay.
This case is not over. It is simply adjourned.
I just don't believe it. I want the test done.
couldn't.
We'll be back to take the test.
I couldn't tell you at home.
Yes, you could have.
I'm sorry.
We'll see.
I didn't want you to be mad at your dad.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
I'm sorry.
Well, I have to give all credit to my mentor, Barbara Walters. She said it's not the first question you ask, it's the follow-up.
Let me tell you, he's definitely broken. She's definitely broken. And I guess the DNA test is gonna solve the problem.
You know what?
Well, not the problem.
No, the DNA test is going to provide an answer. But their problems is just beginning.
Made in Georgia.